Thank you for joining the Jeff Show. Isn't that a crime, is what we call it now. My name is Jeff, your co-host. Joining me, we have Sharon
Hi.
and two special guests for me. This is a very special day. It's not only my 47th birthday. I'm talking with Renee and Jimmy from Arizona. Known them for about 13 years. I've first met Renee was the first one. We would go to her shop. Can we mention the town that you guys are in since we're going to
Yeah,
promote?
absolutely.
All right, so they're from Bisbee, Arizona. I don't know. It's a mining town in southern Arizona near Tombstone. She had a store. It was called Sweet Midnight at that point in time, which it still is, but it's now a website.
Mhm.
But as we're talking about, I would take the kids. We only had two at that point, and I would carry the stroller up your stairs, right?
Yes.
And we just started a friendship maybe after the second, third, or fourth visit because Ivy and I, we stalk people when we like them.
Yeah.
That's what we do, right? So, yeah, that's the skinny of it. And today we're going to talk about your ghost tour and your website.
Okay.
And Jimmy, I know you have a nice collection of. I
Junk.
call it, I call it murderabilia. It just sounds nicer if you say murderabilia. It could be mermaids.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think mermaids.
I know
Yeah.
Renee likes mermaids,
I love mermaids.
right? So, how you guys doing?
Good. I haven't seen Jimmy in a couple days because I'm in
Oh.
Tucson visiting my friend Julie.
All right.
And so hi, Jimmy.
Hey, Nene.
And I'm sorry about the Tucson part. I lived there since '83 till about 5 years ago, and I'm not
You're
a
all
fan of
Tucsoned out?
Tucson.
You know, I like Tucson. I like it.
Yeah,
What
except
parts?
it's like 115 there, and it's a balmy 78 here.
A balmy
Really?
78.
Yeah, it's all cloudy and maybe not 78, maybe 85, but
Oh,
Okay.
well, in the house it's about 75, so
Awesome. Where shall we begin? Do you want to talk about your website of Sweet Midnight?
yeah, so I own two businesses. The first is Sweet Midnight, where I make clothing and accessories and jewelry, purses, all that good stuff. And our tagline is the dark side of cute because it's creepy but cute, nothing gory. And then there is, sorry, there's five dogs here with us, so you might hear some barking.
That's okay.
And then the Old Bisbee Ghost Tour, which this is our 18th year, and we do ghost tours, haunted pub crawls, ghost hunts in Arizona, in Bisbee, Arizona. Yeah, it's illegal this year. Woohoo, 18.
It's, it's so your tour was at one point not legal, but yeah, based on age, it's not legal.
Yeah,
Your tour can vote now, which is great. And
Yes.
but
My
can't
wife-
drink. Is that correct?
cannot-
Your tour
No.
can't drink yet.
it can't
It
even
can't
smoke
drink
a
yet, but it
cigarette
can vote.
anymore.
You know?
yeah, but
Yeah.
it can just go 3 miles down the road and drink legally in Mexico.
Oh,
There
true.
you go.
Fair enough.
I guess, yeah, you're close to Naco. Am I seeing it right?
Yeah, we're about, well, yeah. Old Bisbee, I think, is about 7 miles from Mexico.
Let
As
me
the
ask you
crow
this.
flies. Yeah.
How easy is it to go to and from the border with you have to have a passport? Can you use the travel ID?
So yes and no. That's the easy way to do it. But as a U.S. citizen, you can't actually be compelled to show ID for your own country. So they can hold you up. But yeah, if you just cross with a driver's license, they may frown about it. But there's not much they can do about it.
Oh, okay.
On the rare occasion that I go over the border, I always bring my passport.
It'd be
Better
smarter.
safe than sorry.
Well, yeah, it just makes it quicker. But yeah, I mean, like if you as a U.S. citizen, if your wallet got stolen in Mexico, they're gonna let you back in. It's just they're gonna have to identify you first.
Yeah. I don't want to get stuck in any country without not being able to come back anytime I wanted to.
No,
Yeah, right.
So, but Getting a
Then
passport is kind of
maybe
a pain
like
in the ass.
Costa Rica. I wouldn't mind being stuck there.
It'd be cool. What they have.
Grand Cayman.
Grand Cayman, I wouldn't mind getting stuck there now.
Yeah.
Or England, and of course, I don't know if you recall, Sharon here is from Australia.
I want to go visit Australia. Can I come and stay with you?
If you don't mind sharing the couch with lots of dogs.
Don't mind, Jimmy. We're going to Australia.
Hey,
They're all little dogs, though.
everything there wants to kill you.
Oh, that's not true.
Koala bears don't want to kill you, Jimmy.
No,
Yes.
but the quokkas try.
That'd be a cool road trip.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah, Australia's good. All sorts of weather. It's, yeah, hot,
Wait.
cold, wet.
It's winter time right now, right?
Yeah, it's just come on to winter, so it's been a bit cold and wet.
Mm.
Nice.
Some sunny days.
That's a weird concept. It's July, but it's winter. I even joked with her, like from The Simpsons. I was asking, is it true that the toilet swirls a different way when you flush it? Right?
Yes, it
Does.
Is that with the
does.
equator that does it?
Yes. Yeah, it's on the other side of the hemisphere.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's kind of cool. What else is different over there?
prisons.
Prisons. They're
Ooh.
different.
What about
Um,
prisons? That's interesting.
One of our
what else
favorite
is different?
subjects.
All sorts of things. We have more stabbings and shootings.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, because we don't have, we've got tight gun control laws. So most people who die are stabbed
Makes
rather
sense.
than shot. So yeah.
And
Now, what about pen paling people in prison? Is it the same as it is here?
In a way, it's harder to get addresses and phone numbers here because you don't have access to online databases. If you want to find out where a prisoner is, you've got to call the prison and find out if the person you're looking for is there. And of course, they're not going to give you information to a stranger. I mean, if you're family, they will. But I mean, American Online, you just look for someone, you find
Oh,
the
sure.
address, you find their number, you can write. So
you
yeah,
can even
it
now
is
reach out
different.
to an inmate within 5 minutes with the apps, right? You have the GTL and the JPay. So I've talked with people. I just looked at their name, and
Yep.
within minutes,
We
you can
don't
be.
have, yep.
Yeah.
Our Australian prisons don't have those tablets. I think they should.
They
I think
should.
they're great for
I've had 3 phone calls today from
keeping in
different
touch with
inmates
family.
wishing happy birthday. So it's a thing. Sorry, Sharon, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. That's all good.
Sorry, my dogs are playing. I hope it's not disturbing to you guys.
It's okay. My dog yesterday, we had a episode and it was growling, and I'd say it's Cujo training for the next Stephen King movie.
Oh,
It's
fun.
practicing. Yeah.
Yeah, Frenchie's the Frenchie, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
She's
they have
cool.
an interesting.
She's psycho. She hates other dogs. She just wants to kill she's like a serial killer dog. She wants to kill everyone in sight. And she has
My Doberman used to be like that. One of them. The other one loves dogs, but yeah.
No, she does not like him at all. And I should share a favorite memory that we're talking about. So, knowing you for so long, we've taken your ghost tour, which is very cool. Bisbee is a neat town. And on my wife and ours honeymoon, we stayed at the Oliver House, and it's famous for 13 deaths, isn't it?
26.
26 deaths. Has it changed since I've been there? It's been
Not that I
26.
know of. It's always been 26, and the
Okay.
address is 26 Souls Avenue.
Uh,
But Souls is spelled Sowles, but it's pronounced Souls like Souls.
they should change it. It needs to be the proper spelling. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a neat
So, yeah.
historic house. When we stayed there, so I don't. It was the previous owner. I don't know how many previous owners, and she was working at a co-op, so we had to pick up the key from her, and we were the only people staying there.
Oh, that
And-
was Patty.
Yeah, I was gonna say it
Older
was probably-
woman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was
yeah,
Patty.
that was Patty. Yeah. So Patty sold it to Trish, and then Trish sold it to my friend Amy and Kenny. And yeah. So they have it now.
Well, I promised the ghost because when we stayed there, a lot of things happened, but it wasn't creepy to us. But we do a lot of ghost stuff, and it was very inviting. We both had this feeling like they wanted us to stay there and they wanted us to buy the house. So I told them if I ever win the lottery, I'll buy it and do what we got to do with it. We had I don't remember what room that we stayed in. I don't think it was any famous room. We did see doors open and close on their own, and we were both taking showers separately. There was a woman out in the bathroom talking to us, and she's asking, "Has she talked to you yet?" I'm like, "Cool, you are talking to me." I don't know. This is kind of cool, right? And there was nobody else there, so we can't say it was someone in a different room because there was no one there.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a neat town, and I remember that you were on the ghost tour, and I think we waved from you from the balcony.
Probably.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. I love that building. A lot of history in that building. Yeah.
And you were on an episode of Ghost Adventures, and I think they filmed some reenactments there that you and Jimmy both starred in, right?
Yep. Yep. They
Yeah.
God, I don't remember how long ago it was. It was very long ago. I want to say 11, 12 years ago they came to Bisbee.
Yeah.
And I put a shout out for people who wanted to like be in the reenactment scenes on social media, and only one of my friends responded. So I think Jimmy had to
I went walking up and down Main Street asking locals to be in it, and yeah, then they're like, "Oh yeah, I can do it tomorrow. I can do it next week." And I'm like, "No, it's today." And yeah, and then the episode aired everywhere, and they were like, "Well, why didn't you tell me?" I was like, "What did you think I meant when I said do you want to be on TV?"
Right. That's a pretty cool. Have you guys ever been to his museum in Vegas?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, yes. That's what everybody says. Unfortunately, yes.
It was designed by like ex Disney Imagineers. So think of someone with an extreme amount of money being able to make a museum with the scents and the sounds and the visuals like you would expect walking down Main Street.
And yeah, and the radical temperature changes. Yeah, it was. I was fascinated by, you went from an extremely bright room to an extremely dark room, and the temperature change was drastic, and the smell in the air was obviously pumped in, but it kept you off balance. But and if you weren't paying attention to that, then it would give you it would set you off. But I was just fascinated by. I was like, oh, this one's really dark. Oh, this one's really bright. Oh, this one's cold. This one's hot.
They're inducing the feelings of the spirit realm. It's funny you say that because our guest yesterday mentioned the same thing. That they're saying people like to faint a lot is because it's so hot and there's no air and the temperature change. So not to knock the museum, I want to see it, but it's just interesting.
Oh,
the experiences are different.
Well, and we will walk into the museum, and so Zach just has more money than us, So we have a couple of Gacy's, and and he has 15 Gacy's. We have two. He has a pot from Ed Gein. We have a spoon. I mean, he just had. It was all the same stuff. He just had more of it.
Makes sense. He's got
got the money,
ban, right?
But isn't he being canceled right now? Like he was like sexually harassing women, and he's part of the cancel culture now. I think. I don't think people like him as much as they did. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I can't keep up with that.
What about Aaron though? Can you believe the fucking shit going on with Aaron and his wife?
No, what?
You don't know about Aaron and his wife?
I don't. I like the show. I don't follow the show.
Oh,
I don't follow the drama. What's going on?
Do you know Jimmy the drama?
No, I'm in the same boat as Renee.
No way. So his wife, he's married, right? His second wife, I guess. She was corresponding with a famous, I probably should look up, a famous killer who killed his parents because he was addicted to online dating with a Russian woman, and they were trying to cut him off, so he killed his family. So she was corresponding with this inmate. He had what they call a butt phone. You know what a butt phone is, right? In prison.
So somebody trunked it and got it in there.
Well, yeah, and that's where they keep it. So when they're talking on the phone, and they have to put up the bunghole, and we would
Wait,
joke like,
what? They put a phone up their
yeah,
butthole?
yeah.
Yeah,
And what
God's
if someone
Gotta
pocket.
put it
calls you on
somewhere where they're not
vibrate? It hits
gonna
the
look.
prostate, you know?
How do you fit a phone up there?
Well, I think it's in prison, and they had
They've
practice.
had practice.
Yeah, so they were talking on a butt phone, and I guess they fell in love, and they were plotting Aaron's murder. She was giving this him.
What?
She gave him like $2,000 to start. He was finding someone to go kill Aaron, and they had his schedule. And she was saying shit like,
up.
no. And she was saying things like, is it wrong for me to want to have him dead instead of just divorcing him? Yeah. Divorce is great if it's not working instead of killing off your spouse.
So did they get divorced?
They are now. She's she's
We have
she's been
No,
arrested
I
and
love
sentenced.
you.
Oh,
To
good.
death to its part.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nene, that's a deal breaker. If you contract my murder.
It's- I mean,
Same for you, Jimmy, if you contract my murder.
it must be insurance money or something. I mean, it's got to be over money instead of just divorcing him.
Yeah.
It's always
Right?
money. It's always
It's
like
always
this.
money or a third person love
Mhm.
triangle.
And he had to do a statement in court. It's heartbreaking. This guy's bawling. He's breaking down, like
You
telling so
can
much of
watch
their.
it.
Yeah, you can watch it. It's.
Oh.
Oh, I'm surprised. Well, that's good that you guys don't pay attention to all that stupid shit in the news. But yeah, it's sad. He seems like a nice guy.
You know, out of all of it was Aaron, right? Like
Yeah.
that this happened to? Yeah,
Yeah.
out of all of the guys on the crew, he was, in my opinion, the most down to earth. And
Seems it.
yeah.
Seems pretty real. And I don't really watch that shows much anymore. It's kind of boring. I mean, it's been on since 2008, and I like when they scream and they run. I'm like, isn't this why you guys are here? Why are you running away from noises?
Because it makes for good TV.
It does.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Although-
yeah, we don't watch it really much anymore. It's good for the ghost tours. Whenever the Bisbee episode airs, there's always a little spike in business. So it's been good for us.
So we need to infiltrate it. Go in the different groups on Facebook and put the episode on there again so people can see it again.
I'm not in those groups, so Jeff, if you want to do that for me, I would greatly appreciate it.
I'll do your PR for you. I'll help.
Yeah.
We have to, same thing with their show. We have to try to promote it. Have to get it out
Right.
there. So, do you have and as far as Jimmy and I have a history. We're both Freemasons, and maybe that's as far as we'll talk about that. Right? I mentioned that because there's a lodge in Bisbee that you guys do tours in, and do you call it a seance when you do it? If you're trying to
No, I
Right.
call it a paranormal investigation.
right.
But the Bisbee Masonic Lodge is probably the most active building I've ever been in. It's yeah. I mean, we had coins falling from the ceiling.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know how the hell that happens. We had a kid have a quarter thrown at him. Jimmy heard Pete's clock go off, which is a haunted clock in the lodge. I mean, it is beyond haunted. So we're very lucky that Jimmy can give us access to it when we want to do investigations there.
Yeah, in the ghost hunting industry, I am what's referred to as a supportive husband. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I fall on the spectrum of believing in stuff, but yeah, it's one of the few places that anything has happened in front of me that I just absolutely cannot explain. And
That's crazy you say that because I've been to your house and it's haunted as fuck. Okay. I've been to the lodge there once. And
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, in the house, we just tell we call the ghost Charlotte. I don't know whether it's a boy or, but I'm just like, oh, Renee, you haven't talked to Charlotte in a while. Talk to her so she'll stop doing stuff.
She got that name because I had a guest on back in the day when we used to do ghost hunts at the Copper Queen Hotel. one of the guests was psychic. She's the one. Wait, is that where I got it from? Yeah. So she said that there was like a little girl that followed me around. She's the one that gave me the reading about your parents, Jimmy.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. And she said there was a little girl that followed me around. And then I contacted my friend Jules, who's up in Alaska, and she's a sensitive. And she said, yeah, her name begins with a CH or an SH. And I think later that day, I was listening to a Cure song that had the Charlotte song,
Charlotte, sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
that one. And I was like, oh, that's a good name for her, Charlotte.
Sometimes. Yeah.
So
That's
that's why we call her Charlotte.
I like it. And Ivy, she described the same thing.
Yep.
Following you
I
around.
saw her, yeah.
Yeah. Because
And I was like, ah!
you have embalming tables and coffins and murderabilia, as we call it, right?
And we just acquired 2 new skulls. Well, I guess they're old skulls, but they're new to
Yeah.
us.
New old skulls.
New
So,
old skulls.
and
yeah.
all that. No,
And-
Jimmy, you haven't felt anything from that?
From the skulls? Nah.
I haven't either.
No.
No, yeah, and we actually we don't have it in our possession yet, but we just acquired a silverware set. Came out of Massachusetts. I think they said it was 1850-ish. It belonged to some family at Borden.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, at
It
a
was
Falls
It's like
River.
a murder, some murder that happened with their
Yeah.
daughter
I don't know. I don't
killing
know.
the parents.
It's all
Yeah.
hearsay.
Yeah. We've got
all hearsay.
we have a pretty big collection of stuff.
What's your favorite piece?
Phidias.
The Phidias is your favorite piece? Most recent acquired?
Yeah,
Phidias.
it's yeah. We there was an estate sale in Tombstone recently, and we had heard through the rumor mill that there was a foot in a jar and a hand in a jar and some other stuff. So we went looking, and we found the stuff. But when we found it, it wasn't for sale. And then a few weeks later, the stuff showed up at our door, and they just wanted to get rid of it. So we got a collection of feet and hands and Phidias.
And Phidias. And I love Phidias. He's my favorite thing.
I've
Like
seen
if
a
the house
picture.
burns down,
Yeah.
I am grabbing Phidias after I grab my Alf doll.
Grab the Alf dolls. Was it a while ago that one was lost? One of your Alf dolls, right? Is it still tough? Too soon to talk about 2 of them? No.
They're on vacation.
Okay, they'll come back.
I'm hoping they'll come back to us
They should. I bet
someday.
they will. So I'm sorry about that.
They're traveling. Yeah, it was pretty tough.
I still hope I still have it. I promised you guys a button from Totally 80s Pizza here in Fort Collins. It had Alf on it. I was supposed to send it to you. I hope I have it still somewhere. I promised Jimmy a lot of things. I even promised for his birthday I'm gonna send him some of my my inmate stuff.
But
And
yeah, I mean, with Alf, so that we have one Alf doll that Renee's.
You want me to go get him?
yes.
Yeah, go get Alf.
Yeah, we want to see Alf.
She's had Alf. Alf goes everywhere with her. I mean everywhere. If we go on vacation, he flies with us. He usually gets his own seat. If we can wrangle a free seat.
Does he get his own meal?
Well, we give him time to go get cats.
Okay.
But Alf goes everywhere, and besides Alf, we have, I don't know how many hundreds of, hey Alf.
There he is.
Cool.
But as far as we know, we have the only Melmacian rescue in the world.
That's awesome.
So there are literally hundreds of Alfs that live here.
Isn't some of them from your childhood that you've had?
That one right there, that's Alf that she's had
So cool.
since
Forever.
the 80s.
Yeah.
And the other ones just sort of make their way here over time.
And Sharon, I hate to say it, I don't want to assume, but you've heard of the show Alf and seen it.
Yes, absolutely.
I know
Alf,
they have
yes.
TV in Australia. I just don't
Yes,
know.
yes, we have TV. Yes, we know who Alf is.
Yes,
Yes,
I assumed.
yes.
Yeah.
That was very popular in the day.
You know, the weirdest thing, I think Alf was something of a rock star in Germany.
Really?
Yeah.
With Hasselhoff? Did they like perform
Yeah,
together?
yeah, kind of like the Hoff. But they
Yeah.
Alf put out literally, I don't know how many records, 15 records in Germany, and was
No way.
quite the hit maker in Germany
You guys
for a
have
while.
some?
Yeah.
Did you? Is this something you're trying to hunt down, or are they rare?
We have one.
Yeah, it's really bizarre stuff. I don't know. It's
Yeah, I think we had one album. I don't know if we have more than that. I didn't even know it until a couple years ago that he was
Yeah.
a rock star.
I
Germany's
didn't
a
know at
mixed
all.
bag.
Now I do.
yeah, yeah. If you go on YouTube, you can find some videos of Alf singing in German. It's
They're extreme. They like Alf and Hoff, and they also like really bad movies like the Necromantic, and you know they have a wide spectrum of interests over there,
Oh,
what
they're a little bizarre over there.
a little bit, but
Yeah, that's
good
okay.
food.
We like them.
Oh yeah. So, and you mentioned Tombstone. I was thinking about the Birdcage Theater, and I've been to two seances there, but I've had more experiences there on the site on my own. The
Mm,
weirdest one is I was in the main area, like in the center, and the bird cages around me, and they have mannequins up in some of them, right?
mhm.
I was standing there and I was looking around like, where the fuck are the mannequins? They were not there. They were gone. I was like, that's weird. They took them down. And then my girlfriend at the time came and she like shook me, and I was like in a daze or something. And then all of a sudden they were all looking at me like, what the fuck? They were not there a moment ago. It was weird. But I've heard people having weird like time lapse experiences there, like smell cigar smoke, right? They can hear
Oh
music
yeah,
from the time.
yeah, that happens all the time. I actually, as far as I know, I'm one of the only few people that have been allowed to go up into the actually bird cages.
Wow.
Yeah. I was on a ghost hunt and I happened to be the tiniest person there, and we wanted to put an EVP recorder up there. So I don't think we had permission, but I went anyway.
Assume
There was
it's
a
not.
staircase, and so I went up it.
It's old wood. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah, it would
stable it
be
is.
it would be really scary. Yeah. I mean, I don't recall it being all rickety. I think the stairs going up were okay. I think it's the boards that everything sits on that's like super duper double old. But
Yeah. Cool place though.
hmm
it's nifty. I the one time I went to the bird cage, well, took the tour. Was I just wanted to see the hearse, the Black Mariah.
Oh yeah, I'll say it had a Black Mariah. Is that the name of the truck in Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I think it is. I think,
Right?
but yeah, the one in Tombstone. What they had a cowboy for breakfast every day, something like that.
Oh yeah. It would take them up to Boot Hill.
One of the two Boot Hills, but
Yeah.
neither of which is where the fake cemetery is now.
Oh, okay. There's one cemetery there, I guess one of the more active ones, the current ones. I was there 'cause I used to go there a lot. I like to go to cemeteries at nighttime. At least I did prior to kids. And I remember, I think whoever lived there came out and like they had the shotgun, they want to blast it to scare us off. You know,
oh
Uh,
my God, that's
that's
terrifying.
Tombstone for you, though.
yeah, that sounds like yeah. We also have a certainly one of the largest. I don't the largest that I know of collection of grave rubbings. So like you take like if you put a coin under a piece of paper and you shade it in, you get the image of the coin like that.
Oh
So
yeah,
we would go and make like rubbings, images of headstones of famous and infamous people.
I remember which ones. I mean, I remember Bela Lugosi, and didn't his grandson come to your shop?
Yeah,
Yeah, his grandnephew.
his grandnephews, and I've talked to Bela Lugosi Jr. about it, and he was all for it. He thought it was neat. And then
Yeah.
his daughter, he doesn't have a grandson, but he has a granddaughter. She thought it was cool too. But yeah, we've got Bonnie and Clyde,
Vampira,
Vampira, Walt Disney,
Cool.
Clara Bow,
Clara Bow. Yeah, we
Natalie Wood.
Oh,
when we would travel, we we would usually when we're driving, it's for a sweet midnight. We're going to some to vend at some horror movie or Halloween convention, and instead of using a van for that, we pack all the stuff into a hearse. It holds as much as a van, but it's a Cadillac, so it drives better. And we had stopped in Palm Springs to get Frank Sinatra and Sonny Bono. They're in the same cemetery in Palm Springs, and so it's like the middle of the afternoon on a Wednesday, something like that, middle of the week. And nobody's in the cemetery, and so we pull up into this empty cemetery and we go looking for their graves, and all of a sudden you see all the workers like scurrying around and stopping and pointing and talking, and we didn't really think anything of it. So we're just doing our thing. We find the graves and we take the grave rubbings, and then one of them kind of comes over kind of timidly and he goes, excuse me, we don't have a funeral today. And I was like, excuse me? He said, yeah, we don't have any holes dug. And
It took us a minute.
Yeah, because we're not even thinking that we're in a hearse. It's just it's a car. You drive it every day and you stop thinking of it as a hearse. And they were just really worried that they hadn't dug any holes, and they thought we had showed up with a body.
Oh man, if it clicked sooner, you could have messed with them though.
I know. Once we were going up to see Phantom of the Opera in Tucson, so Jimmy and I were dressed up for the theater. I was wearing a black dress and he was wearing a suit, and we're driving the hearse. And we go through the Border Patrol checkpoint, and they're saying, "Oh my God, we're so sorry. Go ahead." And Jimmy and I are looking at each other like, "What is that about?" And then we realized that we were in the hearse. And if I'm remembering correctly, Jimmy, we had one of the coffins in the back of it.
Yes, we had a coffin in the back.
That's awesome. So,
but yeah, we were 20 miles down the road before we figured out why they were freaking out.
Have you ever been pulled over?
Yeah.
Yes.
On the way, I forget where we were going. Were we going to Phoenix Comic-Con or driving somewhere? I don't remember, but it was like a month before Halloween, and we got pulled over, I think, in Phoenix. And we got pulled over only because the cop wanted to see what the hearse looked like.
That's cool.
So we opened it up and showed him the back and the rollers, and he was just he's fascinated. But he just pulled us over to take a look at the car.
And then I told him like what I did, how I owned the ghost tours, and he was like, "Oh, we're coming to Bisbee for Halloween," and he actually came to Bisbee and found us.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, like, thank you for wasting our time to pull us over, but it's nice to meet people.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks for scaring us.
We weren't. Yeah, we weren't in a hurry. We weren't late for anything, so it didn't really faze us.
You weren't late for anything? Not even
yeah,
person in the back?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And we've also gotten pulled over on the way to New Mexico. When you drive like the back way, it's through like real rural desert, and we got pulled over by the Border Patrol thinking that we had like drugs or people in the back of the hearse, but no, we didn't. Jimmy, what are you doing?
My belt was too tight, so I was loosening it because I'm fat.
Oh, okay.
It was a striptease show for a second.
I was right about to say, wait until I'm home in a couple days. Wait.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even thinking that there's a camera in front of me.
Yeah. That's crazy. And so we have you have your hearse, you got the embalming tables. Do you ever use that for, like, if you're having a potluck, you put them on top of the...
Well, we put one of them in the kitchen as our kitchen table for a while. The problem with it is it's crowned, and it has a ringer on the edge to catch the fluids in a drain.
Yeah.
But it's not flat. So you can't really set a plate on it because your plate just slides off.
Okay. And this was a used embalming table we used as our kitchen table.
It was clean.
Awesome.
It was clean.
Yeah.
But yeah, that thing weighs like 800 pounds. It's like a flat. If you took a cast iron tub and just flattened it, that's basically what it is. It's solid cast iron. I had to get 4 people to come over and hold the table up while I crawled underneath it and put the pins in to put it back together.
Oh, good Lord.
And I was if they had dropped it, I would have died.
At least it's something you can't ever get rid of. And Renee says we have to get rid of it. I can't. It's too heavy. It's permanent.
Yeah,
It's
right.
staying.
And if we move, it comes with the house. Yay! Yeah.
Well, moving stuff around really isn't that bad. The house has been, we've sort of retrofitted it. For the vending events, we also use coffins because like every horror convention you've ever gone to, anywhere in the world, it's you get a table and a 10-foot square, and it's every booth is just a matter of how they set crap on the table. They try to make their table look different. Well, the first thing we do is when we get to one of these shows, we take the table and get it out of the way and roll a coffin in that we've turned into a table.
Into a display.
Into a display. Yeah. So we vend on coffins instead of tables. And so we have to move coffins around a whole bunch. So the whole house is ramped, like wheelchair ramped now, so that we can roll coffins in and out.
Do you still have, I think you had a coffin from the True Blood set.
We had
two.
Yeah.
And so we have one of them, and then the other one we gave to the Boutique de Vampire in New Orleans, which is owned by some friends of ours, and they carry Sweet Midnight product. And so during COVID, actually, we decided that would be the perfect time to drive cross country in the hearse and deliver it to New Orleans. And so that's what we did.
Very cool. Kind of on loan or kind of a permanent thing, and you just
we just gave it to him.
We gave it to him.
I guess on top of that other stuff, we have a collection, a small collection of screen used props. I don't know if you know about that, Jeff, but
you have the whatever the drink. I forget. I haven't seen the show in years. But you got the beverage, right? The blood. What's that?
That would be Tyler Durden's business card.
Okay.
That's a real screen used one.
Well, this one, it isn't screen used. When they got the business cards made, they got a box of them from Vistaprint, like 500 cards, and they screen used 10 of them. But this is from that box.
Do you have the other thing from True? There it is. Or not?
So that's a bar of soap. That's a screen used bar of soap from Fight Club.
Oh wow!
It was in the scene where Brad Pitt goes into the department store to sell the ladies their own fat back to him, and he opens the briefcase. This is one of the bars from that briefcase.
That's cool. So Jimmy's got connections.
Most of this stuff happens because of the ghost tours. A guy from LA, a prop master, him and his girlfriend were girlfriend at the time were down just vacationing in Bisbee, and that's Renee met them when they took the ghost tours, and we ended up being good friends with them and hung out with them a bunch.
And Travis, the girlfriend, she actually married Jimmy and I.
Oh wow!
Years later.
That's cool.
And so they gave us that stuff, and then the True Blood stuff came from a fellow hearse owner. So we were in LA for, I don't know, some show years ago, and I was gonna buy a thing for the hearse from some guy that I'd talked to online, and he said, "Hey, meet me at this Trader Joe's in Hollywood," which I was happy about because hearse owners are either really cool or really creepy.
Yeah.
And so I was happy that we were meeting in a public place. And so we meet him at this Trader Joe's, and I buy the part for the hearse from him, and then he says, "Hey, I work next door on True Blood. You want to go see the set?" And so he took us over, and we went and ran around the True Blood set for a couple hours.
Oh, so jelly. Cool. I love True Blood.
Yeah.
Really good.
And then so from him, we've got a couple bottles of True Blood, a check from Merlot's. We have all of the flooring from Vampire Bill's house.
Okay.
So
we have. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say we also have like the wooden bullets.
Yeah, we have 2 boxes of wooden bullets.
Yeah. That really don't have any bullets in them. They're just like the boxes. That was
prop boxes, but yeah. Yeah, the weirdest thing about the True Blood stuff is they were so detailed with everything, like stuff that you would never be able to see on screen. All of the information on the side of the bullet box was like, danger, don't shoot at humans, blah blah blah. But it's in print. It's that tiny, and it would never show up on screen. But everything on set was, the details were, on Sam's desk there was a notebook, and you open the notebook, and it was like the schedule for the waitresses, and it was filled out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was neat.
Attention to detail. A lot of scenes are like 5 minutes, and so much goes into it. It could be like a week's
Yeah,
worth.
and yeah, I mean, and it was stuff that was never gonna make the show, but it was just, they didn't just put blah blah blah, which is a lot of times, they just put crap because it's never gonna show up. But this one was all like real information. It was all written like it was a real world.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nifty.
I'm thinking about Jimmy's collection because I get to go. It's like going to my best friend's room as a kid and looking at Jimmy's record collection.
I'm in the wrong country.
the Mystic Seer from Twilight Zone. That thing is so cool. My favorite episode.
That's we have the red one. There's two versions of it. What's that?
If you turn your computer around, you could show everybody your record.
Yeah, it's a mess, but yeah, here you guys can have a look. Hold on.
I do miss Jimmy's room. It was so cool.
Huh.
So let's see. There's Pogo.
Yep.
And
that's the one he's saying. Is that hello or goodbye? I forget.
It's a regular Pogo. I could take it down and show it to you.
Jeff, have you seen the other John Wayne Gacy piece we have?
No.
Okay, I'll have Jimmy show you that one.
Yeah, so this one is Pogo 229. So yeah, so the number on the back, I doubt you can see it, but he had a numbering system, and so this is painting number 1598 dash 229, which, so that his numbering system was, the first number is chronologically, that was how many paintings he had done in prison, and the second number is how many he did of that specific subject.
Right.
Yeah, so this is Pogo 229. So this is relatively early.
229. Yeah.
229. Yeah, so it's, and then yeah, I mean, and like every other Gacy, it's signed on the front, signed on the back. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed painting it, like it says on all of them. But yeah, it's
Jimmy, good to see.
I can get Elvis.
I got a Pogo for my birthday. Have you guys seen it?
A real Pogo?
No.
Oh.
Who's that one done by?
It's an original done by one of my kids.
Oh, that's adorable.
He did great on it. He did a lot of other clown, because I love clowns. So yeah. He surprised me yesterday, and Sharon got to see it. My first reaction was, "Oh crap! My kids are painting Pogo paintings. That's great. Don't do this at school, please."
And this is here's a Jablonski Pogo.
Jablonski.
Yeah, Philip Carl Jablonski. He was convicted of killing 5 women in California and Utah between 78 and 91, and I think he passed last year.
Recently.
Yeah, not that long ago. But yeah, I'll go get the Elvis.
All right.
The painting is now worth more money.
Exactly. Now he's passed away.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trading in the true crime world. I have people asking like, will you trade this and that? I'm like, for one, I promise the people that I won't trade it, my pen pals. And if I ever did, they'd have to be passed away and it'd have more value. So I'm not a trader. It's like my dad sends me a birthday card. All my pen pals, I save all their stuff.
Yeah. I was, when Charles Manson was still alive, I wanted to PayPal him. And one of the art dealers in the murderabilia, however you pronounce it, industry told me not to, because he sends out his followers to go through your trash, to find out about you, to figure out whether you're doing it because you want to talk to him or if because you want letters from him signed by him to sell,
That was the rumor.
Yeah, so I was too scared to do it. I never did it. I don't want his creepy followers following
That's
me.
what
Well,
stopped
and
me. Yeah, I didn't do it because of that reason.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Manson has some cousins in Bisbee.
Yeah, he's got, and his
Yeah.
followers live all around here. So yeah. No, I'm
That's
good.
cool that you brought that up because I think at one point in time it's rumored that he would want to live in Bisbee if he were ever set free. I think
So
that's what's
if you
known.
watch the Geraldo Rivera interview, in
Yeah,
sometime in the 80s,
I've seen it.
mid 80s, Geraldo went in and did like a 2 hour special with Manson. And at some point in the special, he said, Charlie, if you got out today, what would you do? And Manson being Manson, he said, man, if you want to get lost in America, you go to Bisbee, Arizona.
That was a
That
really good impression of him.
It is.
but yeah,
Everybody's bunghole in Bisbee just was kind of clinched at that point in time. Like, oh, fuck no.
I wanted him to come to Bisbee because then I could add him to the ghost tour.
It'd be cool. Is the best place to start a cult.
yeah.
Jimmy, let's do that.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna join a cult, it's best to get in at the beginning. You get to set the rules.
Right? You already got the T-shirt for it. You already got Jim Jones. We'll have some Kool-Aid, but it won't have the poison in it. I promise.
It
Just
was
sugar.
flavor. It was Flavor Aid, but
The flavor. Oh yeah, it's true. It was Flavor Aid.
that's just splitting hairs.
Well, we'll have to go to Kool-Aid anyways for copyright, right? You can't do what
Oh,
Jim Jones
yeah.
did.
It'd have to be like sugar water, sugar flavored purple
Or
water.
we can call it Fool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
That's So the People's Temple put out one record.
Was it disco?
No, it's just
Oh.
it's a church record. It's pretty horrible.
Okay.
But yeah, before they moved to Guyana, they put out one record.
Okay.
That was kind of tough to track down. But
Did you play it before you had it framed?
so yeah, I it was sealed, but I didn't care. I mean, if there was no hype sticker or anything, so I mean, if I really wanted to reseal it, I could.
Yeah.
And I didn't care. I didn't buy it to resell it. So yeah, so I cracked it open and put it on. It's just a church record. I mean, like you can go to any thrift shop and pick up a church record. It sounds exactly like this. There's nothing. It's just the Jim Jones connection.
Those are great. I have a vinyl from the Shriner from Tucson. They put out like a jazz record. It was kind of cool. I miss those fish fries.
Yeah. Well,
they
sold the big shrine and
Yeah.
and they just rent from like the Knights of Columbus or something now.
which
So-
is funny.
But yeah, so
the
this
group
guy
doesn't
put
like
out
you.
one CD, and if you can,
Kind of see it.
Makes me want to buy Nike shoes.
Oh,
so
yes.
so Jack Kevorkian in his free time made music. Yeah, he's Dr. Death. Yeah,
Dr.
Oh, it was that guy. Never mind. Never
Yeah.
mind about my Nike shoes.
Yeah, you were thinking Applewhite. But yeah, no, this is Jack Kevorkian made one
The home
CD. He
team.
also liked to paint too, so that's an orchid he painted, and on the music that he made.
So
Yeah.
does he do death metal?
No, it's just
No.
it's like creepy music. It's
Muzak, kind of like Chuck Mangione.
yes, exactly. Yeah, it's like very much like Chuck Mangione.
Music to die to, not for.
Well,
Hey,
this
Jimmy.
one it's called A Very Still Life.
Very stiff life.
Hey, Jimmy, show them the John Wayne Gacy Elvis that hangs above our bed. Now that is art.
That is art. I wonder
It's
how he did his stencils for his paintings.
he did use rough stencils for the stuff that he did over and over. He did a number of Elvises, but like nowhere near the numbers he did of Pogo's, and it's significantly larger than Pogo too.
It is huge.
Yeah, it's a big painting. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the Pogo in front of it, so it's quite a bit bigger.
I think you guys do you, Nikki. I think Jimmy's heard of Nico Clos, the Vampire of Paris. Have you heard of him? Renee?
Yeah, he's one of my Facebook friends.
You should have him do a portrait of you guys because he does paintings. He does commissioned. I think it'd be badass if he did a.
Yeah, that'd be nifty.
And he puts real blood on it too. It's a cool
Well,
story.
That or somebody else's blood.
Well, yeah.
Well, there was that guy that does the blood paintings, and I know he did a whole bunch of Mansons, and he mixed in some ashes.
Doesn't what's his face have one in his museum?
Oh, George the Giant.
Does George have one? I thought
George got one made of himself.
what?
That's
Yeah,
cool.
That is cool. Did Graham have one?
Graham used to have a couple of them too.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But we had a friend in Tombstone that was in the same kind of stuff, and he had a museum up there for a while also. And
A museum of weird.
Yeah.
Tombstone?
In Tombstone, yeah.
After my time? I didn't know about it.
It was
The puppy.
it was after you guys were up in. It was probably within the last year that you were here in Arizona, so when you weren't down here very much.
Yeah, we left in 2020 when we split.
Yeah, it was pre-COVID, so maybe 18, something like that.
Okay, darn it, I missed it. I know Tucson has some like more of a like an occult store now. We missed
Really?
the cool stuff.
Hey Jimmy, can you go grab the gift that Graham gave me? One of my favorite things, the skull with the African hood.
Yeah, I can get that one.
Yeah. So I don't know why Graham is extremely generous. He still lives in Tombstone, but we dropped something off at his shop. I don't remember what it was, and he had what Jimmy's going to go get in a display case, and I said, "Oh, I've always wanted one of those," and he literally took it out and gave it to me, and I was like, "Oh, it's one of my most prized possessions."
That's cool.
So Jimmy will get it.
The suspense. I can't wait to see what it is.
Oh, it's so cool. You're gonna like it.
Cool.
If he ever comes back.
I'm back.
He's run off with it.
Well, yeah, I don't run with skulls. So
wow.
It's a skull on a clay pot, and it's bound with strings and bones and nails.
Okay.
It's a Haitian voodoo skull.
I was gonna say Haitian. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the person's soul is bound up in this pot.
Ah.
I can feel the vibes from here, which is awesome. It's I can only imagine what's like.
It's dark.
That.
It feels really dark.
Well, it's. I mean, it was. I guess used in a bunch of. So it's just covered in soot. So it's black with soot, but it's it isn't a tourist piece. It was like an actual religious piece, I guess.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, and so it sat in in some small smoky room for who knows how long.
It was operative, not speculative.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite pieces.
You guys should just charge entrance fees to your home.
No, I would really, really, really love to open my museum again.
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to work it. I didn't like being married to a shop. And actually, I think it was 11 years ago today, I officially closed my shop.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It was
my physical shop.
The saddest, happiest day for you. We were sad, but happy for you.
It was really sad, but I didn't like working a shop.
Well, you don't like people sticking their ass in the door and farting on you. I don't blame you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what my...
You know, Renee opened the shop because she's a creative, and it was an outlet to sell the stuff she creates. But then if you have to be a shopkeeper, it turns out you don't have time to create.
Yeah.
It's true. And customer service sucks, even if you're the owner. Because you deal with it now with the people that call you. Do you still get this stupid cancellations or just rude people on the phone trying to sell tours?
So I hired one of my tour guides to now answer the phones and manage my ghost hosts because it's worth it to pay somebody else to do that for my sanity.
Yeah.
So if you notice on Facebook, I haven't been posting about it because I don't do it
You've been a lot
anymore.
happier.
Like I am
Yeah.
so done with.
Tone is different.
Yeah.
That's good.
What time does the 7 p.m. tour start? Yeah, that was my favorite one.
6:59.
Oh, gee. Gee, I don't know, 9 o'clock.
9
Yeah.
o'clock. Is that my
Well-
time or your time?
Yeah.
Where are you?
And if that was a one-off question, it wouldn't be that bad. But that was probably the most commonly asked stupid question.
Uh,
I tell
So
my
yeah,
kids
so,
that
so
there
you know,
is-
like 3 times a week, somebody would literally call and ask what time the
there
7
are
p.m.
such
tour
things as
started.
stupid questions. Despite what they tell you in school, some things are really stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, we're going to be a half hour late. Can you wait for us?
Sure.
No.
$500. I'll wait. Right
Yeah.
now.
There's, 20 other people that made reservations. So, no, we can't wait for you.
Any celebrities on the tour ever?
Mm,
I
It
think Johnny
depends on-
Depp would go to Bisbee now and again.
who?
Johnny Depp, wasn't he seen in a Copper Queen Hotel?
Yeah, he stayed at the Copper Queen. He's good friends with Doug Stanhope, who lives in Bisbee. Celebrities. I wouldn't go so far as to say they're like A-listers, but we've had some like news broadcasters that were vacationing in Bisbee and took the tour. We've had I'm trying to think.
Well,
We-
A-listers don't do public tours because they're married to a group of 20 people for an hour.
Sure.
So they
But they
that's
might-
that's one of the things they have to give up.
Put on the glasses, the hat, and they try to mingle. Just
Yeah.
I mean, the last big sighting I heard about was Paul McCartney was in town and went into a bunch of shops, but moved very quickly and was in downtown for less than 45 minutes.
I don't think he lives in Tucson anymore. I don't know.
No, I'm not sure where he lives. He was just down for the day, but
Yeah, I know I think did he sell his house in Tucson?
I don't know. I'd be surprised if it's still there.
Yeah.
I think after his wife passed, he might have.
Yeah. Who there was another celebrity that was in Bisbee around Halloween time, but she didn't take the tour, but I did see her. Blonde hair, I forget who the heck she is, from some 90s TV show. I don't know.
I don't know. A lot of those folks come to town and just go over to Stanhope's house and hang out.
Yeah.
I think for a while, Marilyn Manson was a regular visitor to town.
What?
And remember, Jimmy, like not too long ago, Leonardo DiCaprio and Johnny Depp were seen eating lunch at Morning's Cafe in Bisbee,
Oh yeah.
like
Wow.
a couple of years ago, I think. Yeah.
That's pretty
I
cool.
guess they were visiting Stanhope. Yeah. Everyone visits Stanhope.
Stan Hope. What does he do?
He's a
So
comedian.
Doug Stanhope, he's a comedian. He was on the Man Show,
Yeah, I remember the Man Show.
but yeah, I mean he's like has Showtime HBO specials level comedian. He has gets
Okay.
hour-long specials and some of his comedies is pretty funny. It's kind of dark. If you want to look up Stanhope, Google Doug Stanhope. Abortion is green. It's some of it's kind of funny, but he
So it's good for the environment, he's saying? It's green?
Yeah.
that's what he's saying. Yeah,
Okay. I'll
Yeah,
hear
well,
him out.
it's a
I'll
little
listen.
dark.
Oh, yeah. I
Um,
respect that. He's taking chances.
yeah,
That's,
and
we need that.
but yeah, he's just he's got an open door policy. If you come to town, you can just go to his house, knock on his front door, and he'll let you in.
He's going to regret saying that because I will.
No,
Yeah,
he-
I'll do that
but he
if I ever
doesn't.
come to Arizona.
He has a podcast, and like the production company name is his home address.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, no,
No, he
Yeah.
invites people.
I could see that. Okay.
just and we wandered in there. I didn't know who he was, but we wandered into Stanhope's house one day.
And
No, I mean,
listening.
I like he lives in a part of town called Warren, which is very steep. So we
That's-
were in the upper part of Warren, and
That's where my
I could
pops lives.
see I could
Yeah.
see Yeah,
You're good.
I could see down the hill, and there was this house, and there was like a chariot in the backyard, and just a bunch of and like a giant fly made by a local artist, just a bunch of weird stuff. And I was like, I want to go down and just. I was just being nosy. I was just peeking over the fence, looking at the stuff, and
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
opened the front gate, and he's like, "Hey, come on in. I'll give you the tour." And
So he has weird skull. I might know that house you're talking about because obviously I go to Warren quite a bit to see my dad
yeah,
there.
it's on Van Dyke.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Stanhope's house, and
It has a
yeah,
whole bunch of cool stuff in front of it, like on the fence.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna dress up as a bigger version of Marilyn Manson and hang out in front of his house, and maybe he'll let me in.
just knock on his gate. Yeah, he'll let you in.
if he's
That'd be
home.
funny.
Yeah, if he's
Yeah.
home. Yeah, I mean he tours quite a bit,
Oh
so
yeah.
um
We'll check his schedule. See where he's at.
right.
That's awesome, man. Yeah,
But
I
yeah, I
mean,
mean it's just it's a very Bisbee thing. There's lots of sort of famous people here, people that are famous for things, photographers and whatnot. And yeah, it's just
it's a cool town. I've liked
yeah,
it since I've always wanted to live there. Some of the town folk are interesting, and I don't know how to handle. I guess it's where you live, but that's every town. Every town's kind of
yeah. I
weird.
mean everywhere's got the same goofballs and the same problems. This is just on a smaller scale.
Yeah, it's yeah. I miss Vavoom. That was one of my favorite stores.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
they closed.
they
Yeah,
closed.
a while ago.
I
I
Yeah,
think
remember.
during COVID.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, we still see Kelly and Brad around.
they're cool.
Yeah, they're good folks.
They weren't very talkative. I remember I was in my early 20s and I was in the throes of my goth period. And they're playing they would play like goth music. Would go there and I was like, "So, what's the goth community here like?" Well, we had one kid here. I think he moved away.
Yeah,
Like,
it sounds about right.
yeah, wasn't big. Like, oh, okay. That's cool. But yeah, I would buy all kinds of stuff from them. They had a lot of cool old toys and knickknacks.
Uh
Mhm.
huh.
And what else was cool there? What was it called? It escapes me. And the girl that owned it had like the cool bangs, and the quarry was
The
pretty cool.
quarry, yeah, the quarry just closed relatively recently, but they had lots of interesting shows there. We saw Agent Orange there.
And they would have
Mhm.
satanic shows there.
They
Not as
they
bad as you
did
think.
they did a black mass once, at
Yeah.
least once that I know of. Um,
Oh, that go with the Bisbee people, but they enjoyed that.
I
no,
think
they didn't.
I think it was accepted.
Yeah, just used to
Like
it.
Bisbee.
It's Bisbee. Yeah, nobody. I don't remember any real uproar about it. It's just like,
Mm-mm.
yeah, okay, they're
And I
doing
think
their thing.
it was based on the satanic temple, right? The newer
Yeah, so I
movement.
think it's LaVeyan Satanism.
Yeah.
Um, the Satanic Church of California, basically.
Oh, okay. So more the old
But I mean,
school
that's
LaVeyan.
all modern Satanism in the United States is basically
Yeah.
LaVeyan Satanism.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's some outliers, but I mean, the general community is all
And
LaVeyan.
they're out there on the side of the roads picking up the garbage. They're
Oh
um
yeah,
yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I don't do organize pretty much anything, but I think I love the subject. Like I love old occult, like satanic movies, like cheesy B movies,
uh
right?
huh.
It's just one with William Shatner was in one.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up because yeah, I don't know anything about that one.
Oh yeah, that's a cool subject. I have a huge collection of uh dabbler movies.
Yeah, are you still doing the VHS stuff or?
No, I wish I had a huge collection. I don't have a no. I moved over to Murderabilia and pen
Okay,
pals. It's almost like a 24/7 job. It's almost out of hand of how many people I talk to on a daily basis. I think I have
Yep.
20 active pen pals right now,
oh wow,
and letters. I get at least 6 letters a week from
okay,
different people. Phone calls daily. I talk to Robert Bardo quite a bit.
uh huh.
You guys know Bardo, right?
Yeah,
He's
is out in California. That's the My Sister Sam, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
With Melissa Schaefer,
Rebecca.
Rebecca
Isn't it
Schaefer.
Rebecca Schaefer? Yeah.
Yes, Rebecca Schaefer. When he
Mhm.
was 19, he unalived her. Unfortunately, he a stalker case from Tucson. He's from Tucson actually.
Okay.
And what's cool about him is because we talk about that, he would give me his old addresses because he wants to see Google Maps of what they look like now. So I got to see where he grew up.
Okay.
He told me the exactly where he was caught because they said he was running in the freeway. He came back after the incident, came back to Tucson, and he was running around. He told me it was it was the off ramp to Congress, I believe, where he's
Okay.
saying that I shot her. He's completely reformed. He's definitely regrets that incident, which doesn't make any better. But he's one of the few that he's working towards his own redemption,
Hmm.
rehabilitation. He's life without parole, but he's hoping certain laws in California change that he can hopefully get parole.
Uh-huh.
So he's very careful. He does a lot of drawings, and actually, he's gonna do a drawing of you two. Eventually, I asked him to for your birthday, so he's gonna do a sketch of you guys.
Oh, cool.
He used to draw Schaefer. He won't do that anymore, and he doesn't do pogo. He used to do serial killer stuff, but
Uh-huh.
he does not want his name. He doesn't like. He lets me talk about him on the podcast, but as long as we don't talk about his crimes, really, he doesn't want to be known for that.
Sure.
But
Well, I mean, I'm not justifying anything that anybody did, but yeah, I mean, we all grow, and
yeah,
I mean, that's the whole point of life imprisonment as opposed to just execution is to give them a chance to reform, even if they can't be out in society. That's it's the whole point of the thing, I guess.
I would say it's definitely Sharon. You talk with him as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't forgive himself.
No,
He
he's hard on himself about it.
Yeah, he's really hard on himself. He doesn't, yeah, I mean, he does want to be released, but I think, that feels he shouldn't be released because of what he's done, even though he is very, very remorseful.
He was 19.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is genuinely remorseful, but so hard on himself.
yeah,
How old was he, Jeff?
19 at the time. And one of his favorite famous pictures was a mugshot before the incident because he had a domestic violence issue with one of his brothers. So one of the pictures you see was even from that occurrence, and
Mm.
from it they have anti stalker laws were created because of that. And the MVD DMV can no longer because that's how he got our addresses from the DMV from with the private detective.
Yeah.
So you can't do that anymore because of that. So there was
Makes sense.
some weird kind of good coming from that.
Makes
And I
sense.
mentioned that Jimmy, when you're ready to pen pal, I know that maybe someday I got some cool addresses for you.
Okay, yeah. And
And you
Nanny
too,
was the
and
thing I
Renee.
struggle with is time. Just between just going to work like the rest of the world does, and then coming home and
Yeah.
helping Renee with her stuff, and and just running a household, and then trying to fix cars and everything else. I
Okay.
just
I'll do it. I'll do it.
But
Nanny
Renee's
will
ready to
do it.
go. Okay. I could put some people together that are good for you,
Okay.
they're great conversationalists, and they're despite their crime, it's weird to say this, but despite their crime, they're good people,
Right.
right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that you should absolutely be held responsible for what you do, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you can't grow. And I'm not the person I was when I was 19.
Yeah. Who
No,
is?
me either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
people change.
I've got a friend in New Orleans that has a pretty amazing collection of Ramirez letters. He pen palled him for a lot of years, and but yeah, they're really kind of creepy because his first name is Pat, and so he just let Ramirez assume that he was a woman, so that so that he would write back. But yeah, he's got
Yeah,
a
that's taboo in the pen pal world. If you do that, I mean, some people have,
uh-huh.
Yeah.
but that's a hard thing to keep up if you do that. And yeah.
Well, I don't know. This was in the 90s, and I think they
No fault
eventually
them
got
for
past
it.
that. They
Yeah.
talked for they talked for a long time. I think they eventually talked on the phone. It's been years since I saw his collection, but yeah, it
You'd
started.
be a cool
It
person.
initially started out because Ramirez thought he was a woman.
Hey, if you can't clean later, and they worked it out, then no big deal.
Yeah,
And so Sharon, I
and
think. Go ahead.
I had a a teacher I knew in El Paso that had all of his nieces and nephews in a class, because he's from El Paso.
Yeah.
And so they had all kinds of Ramirez stuff, and talked about their Uncle Richie. I had a teacher in high school that had him in a class. So one of my teachers, had been teaching for forever, and first day I walked into class and I was like, "Hey, I heard a rumor that Richard Ramirez was in here," and he's like, "Oh yeah, Richie, he was in my class." And so I immediately said, "So where did he sit?" And he said, "Oh, he sat back over there." And I said, which desk was it? And he said, "I don't know. I think it was that one over there." And so I grabbed that desk and moved it to that spot. And I was like, "Can I sit here for the year?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess."
I grabbed that desk and I took it home. This has been the next story at the last day of class.
Well, I had another teacher that, and this guy was older than the hills. My Spanish teacher, Mr. Cervantes, he had Sharon Tate in his class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I asked where she sat, and
that's cool.
And sat in her spot too.
I have a stone from her fireplace from the Cielo Drive.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it from the Dearly Departed tours. I think his name is Scott.
Oh yeah.
We have part of what's her face? Mariska Hargitay's mother.
Mansfield, Jane Mansfield.
Thank you,
Oh, yeah.
Jane. We have a piece of the windshield from her car.
Because he has the car and he does sell the piece of the windshield. And also, I think some of the bottom of the pool that was there. It's
the
all
swimming
gone
pool.
now.
Yep.
There's a documentary on James Mansfield with her daughter, and it's really good on Max, I believe.
I heard that it just came out.
Yeah. I haven't seen all of it, but it's great. I love James Mansfield more than Marilyn Monroe. I know it's probably sacrilegious, but Jane was great. I like her movies better too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Not just because she shows her boobies, it's still good movie.
Yeah, we were at the Dearly Departed place years ago. I don't know if they still have a physical location. They had one for a while with the car and stuff in it.
Yeah.
And I was asking the worker about the Gacy's on the wall, and what number they were, and blah blah, just asking him about the paintings. And he's like, "I don't know." And so me and him are like standing on boxes trying to get the paintings off the walls. And he gets a call because I guess somebody was watching on security cameras going like, "What the hell are you guys doing?"
Check out your paintings, man.
Yeah, but guy was super cool. We were just like taking shit down, and I was looking at the numbers on the back of Gacy's.
I think it's just storage now. He mentioned because of COVID, it really affected the tours.
Yeah. It was pre-COVID. I think their location went away because of COVID killed lots of stuff.
And he's in a lot of stuff. He was in Ghost Adventures too, I think, for one of the houses there. I forget which one, but yeah,
wasn't it the Charles Manson, the Sharon Tate murders, the house that they built on top. I think was it,
or was it, or the La Bianca house? I think.
I don't remember.
I don't know. We went looking for the Wonderland house one day up in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
Never did find it, but I think it's long since been torn down, and they changed the they changed the house number so you can't find the spot.
So we could find it.
Yeah, there's nowhere to park up there, so you couldn't like park and walk around. And
you have to park far, but drive. And I mean, speaking of the Cielo Drive, David Ullman, right? The Ullman house.
I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, so his house is just a couple 100 yards from the Sharon Tate property.
Okay.
And he built his house with his dad there. It's kind of on the side of the hill, and it's super haunted. You can do tours there, and
that's the house I'm thinking of. I think.
Yeah, Sharon Tate, and he's seen JC bring spirit there before, and Sharon Tate, and he does live YouTube videos still. He's like Friday or Saturday night. You can catch it. I'll message him because you can message in the chat. He'll talk with you, which is cool. I'm a geek like that, and get the kids like say, "Dad, they said your name on TV." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." But I'd love to go there. You could do tours there, and he seems like the coolest guy. And it does seem like the other night, like the lights would go on and off. I think it's pretty legit haunted. So yeah, and he has a book out. You can buy his book and he'll autograph it and stuff and talks about the ghost stories of that house.
Well,
That's
that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be out there in August. We've got a couple days. We should go look for that.
Yeah, definitely. Probably hit him up ahead of time.
Jimmy, maybe we can do that before we go to the Magic Castle
Okay.
because we'll be in that neighborhood.
The Magic Castle is also haunted.
Yeah. With the Magic Castle, what's that?
Ooh.
Oh, the Magic Castle's super cool. It's like a dinner show sort of place. So it's the Association of Magicians, and it's a
Oh wow,
um
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
know
a
that.
castle, and like you go there, you have to have dinner to go to the shows.
Yeah.
But
And they
you
have,
also, Jimmy, you also need to be invited. You can't,
yeah,
like the
you can't just
public
show up
can't
there.
go. You have to have an invitation to go.
So somebody that's a member, like a practicing magician that's a member of the magical society, has to make the reservation for you.
Yes.
So yes, you just have to know a magician to get in.
That's so cool. Like I want to be a magician. I want to be a clown. All these, right?
Oh yeah, no, I'm there with you.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that's why.
I just bought a pair of clown shoes. There was a junk dealer and he had like a
Oh,
legit pair of clown shoes.
that's so cool.
And so I because I had like the cheap ones from like the Halloween store, but
Yeah.
these are like professional leather clown shoes.
And they
Are
were
they serious?
handmade, weren't they?
Really?
Yeah.
Handmade? You
Oh
did it?
yeah, they're
Good
like
quality. I mean,
yeah,
are
really
they
good
within
quality.
reaching distance to grab your clown shoes?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
Where are they?
Well, we took them to that show in Tucson.
And they're in the Gypsy Vardo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we have a gypsy wagon
Yeah. That's used to be your mini tour.
Oh,
because
Right.
why not, right?
Why not? And you had that custom built too, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's the only all metal gypsy wagon I think that exists.
You guys should hire me as your PR because I think I know your lives pretty well and I can promote everything you have, everything you've done
okay.
for the last 10 years.
Yep, you are now my official PR rep.
You got it.
Okay, go
Go do stuff.
Go do
things.
PR.
Promote.
Go promote. We are, of course, after with the show. We're gonna post, get word on the tour. I want to get more of an audience in Arizona. Yeah, so that'd be great.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll cross promote too.
Of course. Yeah, get the word out. It's not so bad. It's not so boring, right? Usually,
No, I'm having fun.
like an hour and a half will go by, you won't even know it. Like our guests yesterday, they had to leave early, but it was. I try not to make it 2 hours, but we just keep it free flow.
Well, I work in Tucson now, so my commute is 2 hours each way every day,
Okay.
and so yeah, so I do a lot of podcasts.
And mine's not the main one that you listen to.
Well, I just found out that you had one.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't do a whole lot of Facebook, and so
Yeah,
or Insta or any of
we got some pretty good guests. Have you heard the Wild Bill one? Do you guys know about Wild Bill from in
tell me
Panama?
about Wild Bill.
So people said they thought he was a serial killer. He's not. That's like saying the mob are serial killers. He was a hitman in Panama.
Okay.
And Sharon, you can also please, you know him pretty well.
Yeah, no. Well, he is American.
Yes.
Yeah, and he basically did a runner because he owed money and did some dodgy stuff. So he went to Panama and become a cartel person and was hired a lot to do some hits. But I don't know, when he did the hit, he acquired all their belongings and houses. So he
Okay.
somehow managed to get their possessions. How he didn't get caught sooner, I do not know.
Panama.
But yeah, he would was it 5, I think, people he's
Yeah,
5
five,
people.
and
Yeah.
unfortunately for all of them, but one was a minor. He didn't know he was a minor at the time because he was close to 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, yeah, he
They
was,
had
but
taken out.
apparently he was the son of one of some bad guys, but the kid was a bad guy too, would abuse women and
Yeah.
all that. So he wasn't a good kid, but still, that doesn't, you still don't kill kids.
No.
Yeah.
Or
So
anybody.
so so, then,
But
so how do you guys then? How do you define a serial killer as opposed to somebody who just kills a lot?
I,
What's the
It's three, isn't it? Three, and you're considered a
it's
serial
three kills and you're a serial killer, but it
right?
has to be
you have to have a cooling period.
different time zone, like time
Right.
periods,
Right.
Right, it
a
can't
gap
be a group.
between.
Yeah.
Can't be
Um,
mass.
but Bill's not a serial killer because all his were hits,
And he
paid
didn't have,
professional
yeah,
hits, and he didn't enjoy it.
it wasn't a fetish, right? It wasn't something like with Dahmer wasn't,
Yeah,
yeah,
it wasn't just something he had to go
was-
out and do.
So like yeah, so I what was his name? The Iceman. Was it Jablonski or what was that guy's name?
I don't know.
Like, did you ever watch the Iceman tapes on like HBO?
No.
He was like a hitman for the mob, and he did. I mean, he did some really horrible stuff. He would like
Oh yeah.
He enjoyed it.
oh yeah, no,
Mhm.
he like they would
Okay.
say we want proof that it happened, and so he would like chain them in a rat infested cage, like chain them to the ground, 4 points, and then put a video camera on a tripod and come back the next day and give him the tape of the rats eating him alive.
That's serial killer-esque for sure.
Yeah,
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 he did.
absolutely.
This guy did some, yeah, all the stuff he did like that was just really horrible. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just funny to me. I always trying to figure out where the line is between serial killer and sicario or
Well, like
hitman.
Dean, he technically has 2 confirmed kills,
Well,
possibly his brother.
so yeah, that's a question now. So Geen is one of the few ghouls.
Yep.
But whether he's a serial killer or not is up for debate. You know, whether he killed his brother or not.
The game.
Yeah, that one's debatable. Like, did he
Yeah.
die in the fire or was he killed
Right.
and put in the fire?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I was saying, Zach has that cauldron from Geen's place, which is cool and big. We have a spoon from the property. When Renee used to have the shop, I would at night while she was doing the ghost tours, I would go keep the shop open for a couple hours until the tour was over, and then we would go home together. And sometimes it was kind of slow, so I would, just like read a book, and I was reading all these Geen books. And so these normal people are walking in, and I'm just Ed Gein obsessed, and I'm like, oh, Ed Gein, blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, okay, hey, have a good night. And, and
You
but-
lost us a lot of sales, Jimmy.
well, but
Wrong customers.
so some tourists came in, and they were from Wisconsin, and in the mail a few months later, he went out to the farm site and poked around, and he found a spoon.
Oh wow.
And sent it to us. So we have a
Yeah.
spoon from the
That's
the-
awesome.
yeah.
I have dirt from the property and I got grave dirt, but I think all true crimers do.
Yeah, I've got dirt.
Right? If you don't have dirt from
I got a
gaming,
bit
you
of
ain't in
dirt.
this. You're not doing it right.
Get Jim Morrison grave dirt.
That's cool. Did you?
I had to go all the way to France for that.
I was gonna say, did you get that in person? That's even cooler to get that firsthand.
Yeah.
I think I've got Al Capone. I've got Al Capone dirt.
Oh, that's cool.
But
Yeah, we've got-
yeah.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of dirt. Whenever we did the grave rubbings, we always took like a vial of dirt too.
You
So we've
gotta.
I actually I have necklaces of they should be on the Sweet Midnight website, a Betty Page, Bella Lugosi, and Vampira, and they glow in the dark, and in the image of them is a little bit of their dirt. So it's almost like a shaker necklace. So it's like it's
Okay.
really cool.
Betty Page
Yeah.
is cool. Who else do you have? You don't have James Mansfield yet, do you?
No, isn't she
No.
in New York? Or is she in LA? No, she's in a vault, isn't she?
who?
No,
Jane
I think
Mansfield? I think she's in a wall crypt, isn't she?
I swear I just saw a YouTube video where they went to her. She's out there. I think she's in, was it the Holly? What's the main one?
Hollywood Forever.
Hollywood Forever. I think she's there.
Now I have to look it up.
Tombstone.
Yeah, we've spent a lot of time at Hollywood Forever. I don't know. I don't know if she's there.
I swear I just saw her.
But I mean, so there's Forest Lawn, Glendale, which is absolutely massive, and there's lots of folks there. Westwood Memorial in Hollywood, there's more celebrities per square foot there than anywhere else.
James Mann. Oh wait, I'm looking up James, not James.
James.
Yeah, who's James? Is he cool?
I don't know. I don't know.
Famous?
James
Is he a murderer?
Is he in drag? Maybe.
But yeah,
No,
so in Westwood,
Knoxville, in case anyone cares.
In Westwood Memorial, Marilyn Monroe's there in a wall crypt.
Yes.
And so there was 6 wall crypts that Joe DiMaggio bought, and it was for when he was married to Marilyn. It was for him and Marilyn and the 4 kids that they never had.
She's in Pennsylvania, Jeff, in case you're wondering.
Really? James Mansfield? Okay.
Yeah, Northampton County, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So from Pennsylvania, we've got Nancy Spungen from Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah.
Which arguably could be Sid Vicious, because one of the stories is that his remains were spread on Nancy's grave.
Right.
So we could have a little bit of Sid Vicious too. I don't know, but we do have some Nancy Spungen.
That's my favorite punk couple. If only could have. You think that he did it on purpose or accident?
I think it was probably the dealer. He was way too high to do it.
Yeah. It
was probably their drug dealer that did it. She probably came to while he was rifling through the room, and he stuck her. She crawled into the bathroom and died. But yeah, Sid was out of it. I really doubt that he did it.
And Nancy for me is always going to be, is it Chloe Webb from the movie? I still hear her voice now because she's pretty much screaming throughout the whole film.
Well, have you ever watched any interviews, like any real Nancy interviews?
Yes.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
She does
that New York accent. I can't do New York, but yeah, she's definitely York girl.
New York. The
slurping on the British.
The best book was And I Don't Want to Live This Life by Deborah Spungen. Have you read that one?
No.
So it's the story of Sid and Nancy, but it's basically from her mother's point of view. So it's the story of Nancy with Sid in it. It's probably the best book on their relationship.
Okay, check it out.
It's well worth a read.
He's my favorite non-bass player.
Well, I mean, at that point in punk rock, the point was not being able to play your instrument. He was, it's kind of like, they fired Pete Best and made Ringo a Beatle, not because Pete wasn't a good drummer, he was, but Ringo was a good Beatle. And Sid Vicious very much was the punk rock archetype. He may not have been a good bass player, but he was an excellent Sex Pistol.
Yeah, it was all showman. It was one of the
it was all show. Yeah,
bands ever made.
Yeah, most of the time they would just turn his bass, turn it all the way down, and most of the live shows. Yeah. One of the things I collect is bootleg records.
Yep.
So I have all of the American shows. Somebody recorded all, with the exception of Tulsa, which they filmed but didn't. There's no audio to it. Oh. But I've got all of the American shows.
And was it Texas some of the most iconic shows? Some of the most
Winterland, the last one in San Francisco, is in a lot of lists listed in the top 100 concerts of all time.
Wow.
So Winterland, I think they really had their stuff together as much as they ever did.
It's just a tight performance. He was cutting himself on stage quite a bit, and didn't he get beat up a little bit in Texas? He did get beat up in Texas. Yeah, he wandered away from the club looking for drugs, and some cowboys beat the crap out of him. So we don't got drugs out here, boy.
Yeah, no, Sid was and I think one of the shows he carved "Give me dope" into his chest, and
they gave him dope, all right.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And a while back, we were talking about kind of back on the haunted house thing. Have you guys ever been to the Jerome Grand Hotel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we stayed there.
You stayed there. I hope you stayed there. I would hope you'd go there. I think one of the most haunted places I've ever been to. I think if you, I don't know what your experiences are, but if I didn't believe in ghosts then, I did after that. Did you guys have any experiences there?
So, going back to me being a supportive husband,
Okay.
more than a ghost hunter, it was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 in the morning, and Renee nudges me and she's like, "Did you hear that? Oh my God." And I was like, "Yeah, tell the ghost to shut up." And I rolled over and went back to bed.
That's why we're here for. We're here for the ghosts.
I think
But
I think we were going somewhere else, and I was all like, "Oh, let's spend the night in Jerome." And we did one of the ghost tours, and we stayed at the Grand, and it was during October. Remember that, Jimmy? It was really
yeah,
pretty. And yeah.
It's cool.
yeah,
Yeah, we took. There's a tour there at the hotel you can take. They take it to the basement where one of the maintenance people. I guess he couldn't get off the ground because the elevator crushed his head.
The elevator. Whoosh.
I
Yeah.
imagine some B movie. I imagine it's Trolls Part Two, and the kid's going, "No, stop!" This thing is just crushing his head. Why can't you roll out of the way? Then they have like a police like tracing on it, like a forensic outline of the body, which I'm sure
Yeah.
they did after the fact. Maybe I don't know if it's original. So we did the tour, and it's like a haunted house Disneyland. There, it's just even like the hallways are kind of weird vibes. But so I was in the room, and Ivy went downstairs to read the ledger of the ghost stories. And I started nodding off, and I woke up, and there was like this woman. It looks like a, I don't know, late 1800s nurse garb. She walked in the bathroom and disappeared. And granted, I just woke up and saw this, but it was kind of weird. I thought it
right.
was Ivy at first, but no one ever came out. And I know that it was a weird dress. During the night, we heard a guy goes, "Mom?" I'm like, "I'm not your mom, man." And we were at the second floor, and I think it was the sanitarium portion
Mhm.
of the hotel. And I might have been one of the rooms where I think a woman jumped out of, which is
Oh yeah, yeah. There was a room there.
yeah.
Yeah. I once stayed there. This was years ago. This was before I met Jimmy. So maybe it was like 16, 17 years ago. And I went with my friend Andrea, and we did that ghost tour that they do inside the building. And um, we went to bed, and in the morning, I was so mad at her. In the morning, she said she woke up to what felt like a nurse taking her vitals. So she felt like somebody was like taking her pulse and was sitting on the bed with her. And I was like, Andrea, why didn't you wake me up? Like,
Right? I mean,
like
that's the point of being there,
this is what we came for.
right? No, it's been a while. We haven't. I have items in the house I think are active, but they're tame. We've moved townhomes since we lived here. The last one was pretty active. I remember sleeping on the couch, and there's several times there was this. I call her the monkey lady. She'd wake me up, and she had like a face like a monkey.
Oh,
Yeah, not it's just how I saw her, right? But I always tell them, don't wake me up. Like you can during the day, let's talk, but don't wake me up because that's what freaks me out. My kids wake me up and I go swinging. You don't do that to
Uh-huh.
somebody, right? It's a reaction. It's an old like nom reflex I have from a past life, I guess, suppose. But yeah, nothing active and well, dudes. Sharon, did you have other questions?
I just had one, I think, in regards to the ghost tours. Like, how many people come in as skeptics and leave going, "Oh my God," like,
quite a few. Quite a few. I really I like it when they do the ghost hunt and something happens, or they see something or experience something. And I mean, I don't care if people are skeptics. It's all about learning that perhaps there is something beyond this realm that
yeah,
we are in, you know? I'm a
yeah.
skeptic sometimes. I want
Yeah,
proof. I want hard proof.
yeah.
So
There's you have to disprove it. I think my
Oh,
favorite
yeah, I think you
story.
have to see it for yourself before you believe it.
yeah,
Like,
and I mean,
yeah,
Jimmy's still a skeptic, and we've had stuff happen to us that we can't explain. And he's
yeah,
like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, how do you explain that? Like right after his mother died, like weird stuff was happening. And I was just like, Jimmy, it's your mom. How can you debunk
Yeah,
any of this, you know?
I get it. I mean, some people might be more in tune to it. I know Jimmy's open. It's just how his mind works. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I believe in it too much, maybe. But
Well, yeah, that's it's not that I'm open to it, but it's just folks show up and it's just like every time a door creaks, it's a ghost, and I'm like, no, it's just a door creaking.
Wind, yeah.
no,
And
Yeah.
yeah, and so no, I mean, I've certainly seen things that I can't explain. That there's no earthly reason they should have happened. I don't, but I don't know what it is. I no idea.
right. It's hard to say. It was for sure a ghost. It was weird, but I can't say because it wasn't. It wasn't sitting in front of a chair, talked with me, and disappeared in front of my eyes, kind of thing. It's never. And I was wondering, like, there's got to be like a wise guy. How come some of them just don't say, "All right, I'm going to tell the whole story. I'm going to do an interview for the ghost community, and I'm going to rat us all out." Like it's never. And they say, "Well,
Yeah.
there's rules of the spirit world. They can't because of they're prohibited." I'm like, "What? No, I would.
Yeah,
Nothing's going to
no, I
stop
mean,
me."
and I'm a Mason, and the lodge is very active, and almost every single Mason there at one point has told me about an experience that they've had. You know,
Yeah.
and it's not a group of ghost hunters. It's we're there for completely different reasons,
Yeah.
and every single one of them will just tell you about this bizarre experience that happened in the lodge. And
And oh, I'm sorry. Go
go ahead.
ahead.
No, no, no.
I was gonna say that like Jimmy and I, we have a code word so that whoever goes first, that's our code, like Houdini had with his wife, so
Right.
that we know if they're communicating for real because we're gonna have this code word.
Yeah.
And for Houdini, even that didn't go so well. And he had like that big horn that he made to communicate, and she would like a couple Halloween. She even went to the Winchester house, right? And
And yeah,
nothing.
but he always tried to debunk the
Right.
spiritualists.
Yeah, and when
So,
they had and that was the thing is his wife had a code word, and none of the psychics or mediums ever came up with the code word. They would claim he was there, but nobody ever said, "Hey, Harry's saying orange pineapples or whatever their code
Yeah.
word was."
Yeah.
That never happened.
I wonder if the code word was code word.
It could be. The code word is code word. Like his matching luggage. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 is the
Yeah,
combination. So for you two, and I apologize, you might have to change it, but is it mermaids?
It
no,
is not.
Good. Well, don't tell
you
us.
would never get. Nobody would ever guess.
Yeah. Well, that's the point.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Snickerdoodles,
my
right?
sister knows it, and I think my mom knows it.
But they
It was
wouldn't know it. They wouldn't know it in this context.
No,
Right.
they wouldn't. But yeah,
Yeah, I see, and I don't know. I mean, yeah, my fear is that I finally get rest, and if I use the code word, she's gonna put me to work.
Probably. Could be a tourist attraction.
Yeah, can you imagine how much money you would make if you could guarantee a ghost?
oh,
It would be like
oh, Jimmy,
Beetlejuice.
Jimmy, you're gonna be my cash cow,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
or I'll be yours, whichever one happens
I
first.
mean, apparently aliens are real, and you're telling me the property that you want to buy, they have bars on windows because there's aliens, right? Remember
What?
recently you were looking at a house. You told Jimmy,
Oh,
I want to
that's
buy this
right.
house. It's
Yes.
the middle of nowhere, of like west of Tucson. I'm like, why the hell do they have bars on all the windows and doors if it's so secluded and secure? And I think
Yeah,
you put a little
I put a
alien,
gift.
a
Yeah,
gift.
I put a little alien gift.
Like space aliens or illegal aliens are you referring to? Or both?
I was referring to space aliens.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, they can come in. I always just say no probing, please. It's not the way we swing things.
Yeah, I mean, if they look like Alf, I'm all cool with it. If they
Yeah.
look like the gray aliens, they creep me out a little bit. So,
I just think we are the gray aliens, and they're coming from the future to study us because evolution changes. Because the atmosphere is everyone turns pale and hairless, and our eyes are bigger to let the sun in, and we're just coming back to study. It's like going to history class.
have you ever heard the theory that ghosts are aliens in another dimension and
Yes.
they're kind of breaking through into our dimension. That's an interesting theory. That one
It is.
creeps me out a little bit.
It could be. I think, a lot of it is residual. The space and time just kind of recorded energy and it
Mhm.
replays in a loop. Sometimes it's intelligent. Yeah, it's fun to theorize.
Yeah, well, like the gym at the high school is a perfect example of residual. There's that they'll hear kids playing in the gym all the time, and yeah, it's not intelligent. It's just yeah, leftover high energy.
Yeah.
Whether it's happy or sad, it's a very high energy moment.
And the space caught it because maybe there's a water source underneath or it's a type of mineral that the building's made out of. So something helps kind of
Well,
got attached to.
well, Bisbee has a large a copper, which is a conductor of energy, and quartz crystal, which
Yep.
is a conductor of energy. So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're at an hour and a half, and I think the kids are hungry.
Uh-oh, you better go feed them.
I better go feed them.
Yep.
But I think we should do this again.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thanks for coming on. It was to me it was I was excited. It's like to see Alf again. It was a good hang with. I was trying to get Ivy into it, but she doesn't want to. She hates podcasts and she doesn't like to have her voice recorded. So she's never heard an episode. Which is, yeah, not her thing.
Well, yeah, I'm not much for being on camera either. Renee's the one that likes being in the spotlight. I'm here, yeah, just because you're here, but otherwise it would have just been Renee anyway.
Yeah, I get it. But so now, and go listen to the Wild Bill episode because when I was talking about that, I did have a point to it. We interviewed him, and he said he wanted some nasty, gnarly questions. So we came up with some nasty, gnarly questions for him to answer. And the biggest takeaway from Wild Bill is he doesn't like the penis, but he talks about it a lot. So
He doesn't like the butt.
He doesn't like the butt either, but he talks about that a lot too.
Yeah.
Is it his butt or somebody else's butt that
somebody
he doesn't
else's
like?
butt? He says
is it his penis or somebody else's?
Somebody else's he doesn't like. He's
Yeah.
like,
he loves his own.
oh yeah, he loves his own. He's
I
like,
think every man loves their own.
not as much as he does.
Oh
No.
He has a special relationship. So he has a Facebook page, and he also has a butt phone that I don't think goes up his butt because he doesn't like butt play. But he has a Facebook page.
Where does he hide it?
Huh?
Where does he hide it then?
Oh, I don't know. He won't tell us.
No, he won't know
No,
enough.
but
Not
he's
that.
active, and I actually designed 2 shirts for him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing with my my pen pals. I always offer I'll do art for you. I designed the book for Todd Kohlhepp. I don't know if you know Todd Kohlhepp, Show Killer. His book that came out, I designed it for him.
Nice.
And my friends, they do a podcast, and he's actually in the news again because they have a website. I help them design their logo and stuff, and they sell murderabilia stuff, and he sells his artwork on there. And this got on the news that he's going back and forth. He's trying to make money off it, so it's good promotion for the website.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll send you guys a link, and then
okay,
Renee,
cool. I'll listen to that. I'll listen to that Wild Bill tomorrow morning on my way into work.
It's almost 2 hours long, and you can maybe jump ahead. And I had my old co-host on there, so you won't hear Sharon if you're confused with what the hell's going on. And I think
you won't hear me till episode 13.
Yeah,
that's a good place to start.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a great episode. And Sharon, I think a great pen pal for Renee to start with would be Tina Monroe. She's transgender.
Yeah.
She's formerly James Monroe, and she's part of the Bill Bonin Freeway Killer fame. She
Oh,
was
okay.
18 at the time, and she states that she didn't kill anybody. She helped move the body out of fear.
Yeah.
So she's great to talk to. You should talk to Bardo as well. He does get a little obsessive with female pen pals, but
just a tad.
A little bit. But if you set the ground rules down up front, tell him that you're married and stuff. But he's really cool. He's sweet. He sent me he sent me a birthday card. He sent me a Father's Day card.
Aww.
He's gonna sketch you guys too. I asked him for Jimmy's birthday to draw you guys. I sent him a picture of you guys when you're dressed up as Elvis. I thought that'd be really cool to do. So hopefully we'll get that soon. But yeah, I'll send you, Renee. I'll send you some addresses to start. I
Okay.
actually some of our episodes you should listen to because we do the Pen Pal 101 on the
Oh,
do's
and
and
how
don'ts. Yeah,
Do's
it's
and
pretty
Okay.
cool.
don'ts.
The do's and
Yeah,
don'ts.
I didn't even know that you guys had a podcast until Jimmy was all, "Hey, you want to be on Jeff's podcast?" And I'm all like,
It's a secret.
"What?"
My kids today told my mom, because yeah, Dad's doing a podcast about serial killers. I'm like, shut up. Don't tell my mom that. We don't we don't talk about that, man. All right, you two. Thank you
All
for
right,
joining us.
good talking to you. It's nice to meet you,
yes.
Sharon.
Bye.
Nice to meet you both.
And this is
Bye,
Jeff with the
Al.
Jeff Show by Alf. Thank you, Sharon, co-host of the Jeff Show. Buy merch from Sweet Midnight. Go to Bisbee, do the ghost tour, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.